joining us for Words for the Journey, words of faith, hope, love, and joy for the journey of life, the journey of faith. This past summer, we've been looking at favorite Bible verses. People have sent in their favorite verses or stories from the Bible, and we've not been able to look at all the suggested verses and stories from the Bible. I want to look at a couple here through this video podcast. One of them that was sent in that I found so intriguing was some verses from the Psalms, Psalm 40, the first three verses of Psalm 40. And I'm just going to read these verses and say a few things about them. So this is Psalm 40, verses 1 to 3. I waited patiently for the Lord. He turned to me and heard my cry. He lifted me out of the slimy pits, out of the mud and mire. He set my feet on a rock and gave me a firm place to stand. He put a new song in my mouth, a hymn of praise to our God. Many will see and fear the Lord and put their trust in him. Now, whenever I read Psalm 40 or hear someone read it out loud, I'm always thinking about the band U2, which has this great song. It's just simply called 40, based on the first three verses of Psalm 40. So that's kind of in my mind this morning as I'm thinking about this psalm. The book of Psalms is right in the middle of the Bible. Great book for worship, for singing, for reading. But it's really a book for the human soul. It's a book that's meant to help us express all the emotions, all the things happening in our souls, different seasons of our lives, different events. And it's very much a human book, divinely inspired, I believe, but very much these cries from the human hearts. And here we have one of those moments, one of those cries where someone, and it's such a striking image, someone is in a slimy pit. Now, maybe it was a real pit, like we have this story from the book of Genesis. Joseph, his brothers threw him in this pit and he couldn't get out. I'm thinking it's not a literal or a physical pit. It is a real pit, but it's someone is in trouble. And they're in this interesting slimy pit. So I'm imagining a pit of something's going on in their lives and it's slimy. They maybe try and get out, but the sides are so slimy, so slippery, they're not able to get out. And as I read a psalm like this or words like this, I'm thinking this is the experience so many people have. Something's happening in our lives and I just can't get out of this situation. It could be in a relationship, it could be at work, it could be some decision I made that was a bad one and it put me in this slimy pit. And the only way for me to get out, there's no way out except that God, as this psalm says, God, he lifts me out. Which is the confession of so many people in the Bible and so many people throughout church history. Something was going on. There was no way out. They were in this slimy pit or whatever image they might use, and God had to lift them out. And I find that not just, it's encouraging for me that in those moments when I'm in a pit like that, there is someone who would be willing and able to rescue me. But it's also encouraging for me because it seems so human to have that experience. This is not something that I think most people would say, oh, I've never had that experience. I think many people would say, I've had experience like that. Again, not literally in the ground in a pit, but there was something in my life. There was something going on, some event, something that happened. It felt like I couldn't get out. And as I look back, I realize God lifted me out. Maybe he used people in my life, maybe he used circumstances, but I couldn't do it on my own. God sent someone or sent people or sent help, and he lifted me out. And I love honest psalms, honest words like that in the Bible that connects with my life, and I hope they also connect with your life. Thanks for watching here on the Words for the Journey.